So going XLR has become a lot cheaper than it used to be, but it still isn't very accessible to people because, for one, there just isn't really a decent way of doing it under 100 bucks, as a lot of these setups would end up costing upwards of that much, and if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me down in the comments, of course. And it can also be pretty complicated to navigate for a lot of people, such as having to adjust an EQ and things like that. It's just a lot to go through, especially when you have to buy multiple things in order to make that audio setup actually work. But this time, I actually got really lucky and came across a $60 XLR bundle on Amazon that includes the condenser microphone, a metal pop filter, a shock mount, a microphone arm, an XLR to 1/4-inch jack, earbuds, and an audio interface too, with a built-in EQ. So with that said, introducing the MIVSN or MIVSN Podcast Microphone Bundle. This is actually going to be a really good one, so let's go ahead and dive right in. Before we continue, don't forget that I have a Twitch channel that you can go ahead and follow me on for live microphone reviews and much more than that. But you're also going to find my Instagram and a link to the Tech Summit Discord in the description. So come join the community because it is a pretty cool one. We've also opened up a Patreon as of late where if you join, you'll be automatically entered to win one tech gadget every month in our exclusive giveaways. Details to that are going to be down below. Don't forget to check out the description for everything. Now let's get right into the video. So I'm going to be recording this entire review with this microphone so that you can hear what it sounds like for content creation. I'm also going to be streaming tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time, as in like the same night that this video comes out, so you can hear what it all sounds like, like this microphone connected to this interface and things like that. So links to my Twitch are going to be down below, and you can also ask all of your questions live, which, can be pretty useful. So yeah, you can go ahead and find that down below. Now let's begin with an unboxing. There's going to be a lot to unbox here, but once you've gone ahead and opened up that package here and lift up the lid, you're going to come across instructions, the microphone itself, the pop filter, the clamp for the arm, the audio interface, the USB Type-B cable, the shock mount, the microphone arm, and finally the earbuds for monitoring. So the exterior design consists of metal for this microphone. I was really surprised about that, considering just like the price and considering that everything here is a bundle. They managed to still give us an aluminum microphone, and I do very much appreciate that. And based on its looks, it does seem like they did try to go for that blue spark kind of look to it, where, like it just kind of looks like a very classic microphone. Because of that, you are still going to notice that around the capsule grill, that grill is actually going to be rounded, and it is going to look a little bit awkward in that sense. However, this is still a pretty decent look for a microphone like this, and I do appreciate those inspirations that they must have gotten from the Blue Spark or other microphones that look like it. And it even has a little mechanism for installing the pop filter by twisting the ring around the very center here adequately. And besides that, it's pretty simple here in terms of its looks, but it is going to have that XLR port on the bottom, so just keep that in mind. There aren't going to be any onboard controls or anything like that. Now, the interface is actually the complete opposite of the microphone itself. It's very lightweight and it almost feels empty when you carry it. There are very minimal signs of branding or even no signs of making this one look special, but it's fine for the price. The knobs on the front are actually pretty decent, and you're going to be finding four of them over here. One of them is going to be for switching between modes, of which there are going to be 3 of. There's going to be a bass knob, a treble knob, and a microphone gain knob as well, which is pretty good. And it should be said that each one of these knobs does have a good amount of feedback or resistance to it, so they're pretty satisfying to use. You can get pretty precise as a result, which is pretty cool. Now, we're going to be talking about these a little bit later, of course, as to their functionality and what they deliver on. So on the back, you're going to be finding USB Type-B cable, a 3.5mm jack for your earbud, one for your headphones, another for music, then instruments, one for your microphone, and then 2 more for microphones that utilize a 1/4-inch connector instead. So the earbuds themselves are very generic and have a flat cable. This is my least favorite part of this entire bundle because I also find them pretty uncomfortable. They aren't really monitors, but just earbuds. Earbuds that come in a case and with some extra ear tips as well. When it comes to how they sound, they don't get very loud, but they get the job done if needed. Actually, genuinely really don't like using these here, especially since they just won't stay in my ear. Now back to the microphone. This microphone is a cardioid condenser microphone with a frequency response of 30 Hz to 16 kHz, so while it can't get too high on the high end, it can still get pretty deep on the low end. And now let's get into the actual sound test. Now I'm going to be doing this test without any kind of changes to the EQ and the chat setting, and it is going to be without any kind of background music so that you can hear what this microphone sounds like without any kind of disruptions. So on its own, this microphone doesn't really have the most appealing sound to it, but it does still sound pretty decent, I would say. And I am impressed that it can deliver on a relatively clean sound as it is. Now, sound rejection, however, is pretty bad with this microphone, so if you have your AC on, for instance, this will capture a lot of it. There also have been moments where this microphone tries to suppress any background noise, and it does a surprisingly good job at that, especially when you're like in the middle of recording. And I believe that that's just going to be thanks to the interface here. I'm not sure exactly what kind of magic it's pulling, but it's doing a great job. Maybe it is a thing also regarding the chat setting itself, and I will be testing the other settings too. Seriously though, I think that this kit does pretty well like this. And now this is what the music setting is going to sound like. I would say that it sounds pretty similar to the chat setting. And this is what the sing setting sounds like, and it really just adds reverb, which is kind of ironic for singing. I wouldn't recommend it. And now let's get into the EQ test. Now on this interface, you can only adjust the bass and the treble, or in other words, the lows and the highs, so I went ahead and raised both of these with more emphasis on the low end since I felt like it could certainly use a little bit more of that. This was done through the knobs that are going to be all the way on the front of this unit. This time I am beyond happy with the sound quality and impressed even. They really make this kit a very easy one to use. So I will be doing the rest of this review with these EQ settings applied. But I do still have some complaints here, but I feel a little bit guilty even saying that because of how much comes in the box and how good it's been so far. But I have to say it, the shock mount, at least around the tension part of it, is really weak and can barely hold the microphone up at times. It's been a frustrating piece to work with, to be completely honest. I do wish that you could use this interface with more microphones, but you're pretty much stuck with this one, which means that if you want to later on down the line upgrade the interface itself, or if you wanted to upgrade the microphone, you would end up having to upgrade both by proxy, which means that this by itself isn't really very upgradable, if at all, really. So you're going to be stuck with this unless you want to get a whole new setup. And lastly, the monitoring aspect, or I should say the earbuds, are not very good. The buds will get the job done if you just need to hear yourself, but it will add some weird reverb to it when you're listening back to it or speaking into the microphone already. This is reverb that simply isn't in the actual recording. So I would really strongly recommend that you use different headphones if you want to avoid that, as I've gone ahead and used different headphones with this interface before, and I haven't experienced any of those issues. But seriously, use other headphones. Like, strongly recommend it. So in conclusion, I bought this kit expecting it to sound like total garbage because of the price. So I had very low expectations for it. However, after getting my hands on this kit, I honestly can't believe just how much of a great value you're getting in this kit, while still simplifying the process by a landslide. And by that I mean simplifying the process of going the XLR route. It has its flaws, and of course it does at this price, but this is genuinely a fantastic XLR setup if your budget is really tight, or if you wanted to experiment with XLR first before committing to a more premium or higher end setup. Beginners will love this, as do I, and I feel very comfortable recommending this all-in-one kit to just about anybody who's starting out. And if you're interested in purchasing this kit, then I'll be making sure to leave affiliate links down to Amazon in the description, of course. And I'm also going to be leaving links to ABUNDA, which is going to be a really cool financing service. I do strongly recommend that you use it because you don't need a credit card of your own at all, and you can just pay this off over the course of weeks, making it super easy to finance if you really want to. So links to that down below. There's also going to be Luster in case you need help looking looking for any kind of, let's say, sales around the web or anything like that, it'll do the searching for you and then let you know. So with that said, links to all of these things are going to be down below if you use any of my links. I do get a small commission that does help out the channel quite a bit, so I would appreciate that quite a bit. And also, I would love to give a very special thanks to the tier 3 patron, the $10 patrons, which are going to be Joe Moss, Omar, and Saad Alwazel. Thank you so much for all of your support because it really does go a long way. And now I would love to give a very big thanks to the rest of our patrons, the tier 2s, the $5 tier. So here we go. And this is super important. I would just like to give a very special thanks to all of our patrons, which are going to be listed right here on the screen. Again, a massive thanks to you all for supporting us to help us create the kind of content that we bring to you on a day-to-day basis. And thank you so much for supporting the Tech Summit podcast as well. And just remember that if you would like to be a part of this community too, and then do make sure to check out the links to our Patreon, where you don't only get bonus episodes of our podcast, but you also get automatically entered into one of our monthly giveaways of a tech product that we have reviewed that is of at least $50 in value or higher. So links to that down below. And also don't forget to follow me on the rest of my social media, like my Instagram and my Twitch, and the Patreon obviously goes without saying. But with that said, this has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you for watching, and I will be seeing you all later. Enjoy.